Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. Another season of Lady Eagle basketball is well underway. The Lady Eagles are off to an 8-4 start to this season. We'll talk about the big win over Louisiana Tech in our next segment, but kind of chance to play a little catch-up with the fans that are joining us for the first time this year. Joye, this was a schedule that you put together to prepare this team to open up Conference USA play, which is where we sit now with that first game in the rearview mirror. North Carolina, Baylor, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Chattanooga. And some of the games didn't go the way we wanted, but a 7-4 start to the non-conference, and you could tell after the first game now in the rearview mirror that all of that non-conference slate prepared the Lady Eagles to make another run, to have the opportunity to be in the right mental mindset to chase a championship.
You know, getting the opportunity, Josh, to play in that preseason NIT was huge for us. I mean, obviously we didn't want to be 1-2 coming out of it. We would like, at worst, to be 2-1, prefer to be 3-0. But we played some very, very good competition in that, and that was, you know, going against Alabama State here. Great win for us. Go on the road, play Baylor, that was number 4, number 5 in the country, and then the opportunity to go to UT Chat. And, you know, that was a game that they were ranked 24th in the country that we felt like kind of slipped through our hands. You know, then the opportunity then to be able to play the schedule Coach Jordan Dupuy put together for us, you know, in a very challenging schedule. And, you know, we've been able to see our team that is so inexperienced make some strides, make baby steps, and being able to get better and better. And what you hope for as a coaching staff is that all the challenging games that you have prepares you mentally and physically for Conference USA play. And getting the opportunity to play our first home game was truly an opportunity that we had to seize the moment. We had to take advantage of the opportunity of getting that first home game, using the experience that we had in those tough non-conference games. Because truly, Josh, the game at Chat, it could have gone either way. The game at North Carolina could have gone either way. Those are two games that could have gone either way. Then we're a team that goes to Starkville, and we've all been to Starkville to play, and we've not won much at Starkville. At all, even with really good teams, even playing them in the NIT when we had Jamera Faulkner as our point guard. And we go to Mississippi State, and they're better than ever, and we play them to a 13-point game. So, again, I think that says a lot about our team, and I think it says a lot about, you know, where we are and where we're going. And, again, it's just going to be step by step, and we have to understand that and continue to put pieces of the puzzle together and watch these young girls really grow up in front of our eyes.
The most recent tune-up was a 75-34 win over William Carey, and that was the game where you wanted to really use that as a measuring stick, lay down a lot of challenges to this team, a lot of goals for this team, and with the exception of a couple, they hit those goals.
You know, we really did, Josh, and you know, we went into Carey. It's truly a game. It's a crosstown rival, and you know, they're a team that can come in, they get hot. You don't ever know what's going to happen. And, you know, it's like us going to Baylor. You know, we played for a half with Baylor. You know, William Carey comes here. You got to respect everybody you play. And within that respect, knowing that Coach Tracy English and the great job that they do over there, that we've got to be intense and we've got to maintain some focus. So we set some very lofty goals for this team. And, you know, they did a great job of really reminding each other throughout the game of what the goals were and to really be able to step outside of their comfort zone and really be able to make a difference. And we did. You know, we achieved a lot of our goals there, you know, in turnovers, assist to turnovers, rebounds, field goal percentage, holding Carey to a field goal percentage. So there was a lot of things that we were able to do to be able to be a measuring stick for us of, you know, being able to make some steps in our game. And we did, Josh, we did that.
And the win over William Carey set up the Lady Eagles for opening night in Conference USA against Louisiana Tech. It was a win for the Lady Eagles that we'll talk about on the other side of this break. You're watching Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis.
Thank you so much for this prestigious award. I would like to thank my friends and family.
Hey, it's time for your homework.
Coming, Mama. As I was saying, I would also like to thank my educators for all they've done with me. Without them, I couldn't do anything.
And the winner of the first place award for small cities is Hattiesburg, Mississippi for the Education Initiative.
What are you doing back there, Haley?
Feeling like a winner.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis as the stress ball is with us throughout the season. And, we hope it's not a year where we need this thing very often, but it was a nail-biter back on Saturday for the Lady Eagles against Louisiana Tech.
It was such a nail-biter, Josh. I bit part of it out.
She took a piece out of the stress ball. And for the Lady Eagles to pick up that 69-59 win, believe it or not, it was the first time the Lady Eagles have had a wire-to-wire win since at least the 2013-14 season. I asked you on the radio back on Saturday night, what did that say about this team? I said at the end of the interview, well, to start this segment off, what does that say about this team to play a team the caliber of Louisiana Tech and go wire-to-wire?
And they're very good, very good. Brandy Wingate is phenomenal. There are 2 transfers in Santos and Pomeroy that transferred from Marquette. They're really, really good, Josh, really good. And then they have some other players that really fit in and fill roles because they're great athletes, and truly we're difference makers. And we go in against this team that is a team that's very similar to us, athlete for athlete. And I tell you what, the Lady Eagles really stepped up minute by minute and was able to make a difference. But it was the Caitlin Jenkins show to start the game. It was truly all about Caitlin Jenkins. And then you have to applaud our teammates because we were able to get her the ball. When you have 23 assists to 27 baskets, it shows that that's a true team effort, and that's what we were. We went to the hot hand when it was Caitlin Jenkins, when it was Jayla King, when Tajane Vega was really on fire and being able to create to get to baskets, to get to the rim. We were able to get her the ball in our different sets. So again, I think what we saw more than any other time is truly a team win and us really focusing in who was hot at that time and us trying to get them the ball. You look at all 4 quarters, Josh. The second quarter is the quarter that was the quarter that hurt us. We were 4-20 from the floor, and we missed so many shots at the rim that were easy shots for us to be able to score some buckets, and we missed those. We've got to be able to do that. I truly believe that if there's going to be 2 quarters that you got to play great in, it's got to be the second quarter and it's got to be the fourth quarter. And again, the first and the third quarter was truly our best quarters, and that's something that we've got to continue to take those baby steps and learn.
It was a 17-point, 10-rebound first half for Caitlin Jenkins as part of a 29-point, 15-rebound performance. Those 29 points, a season high. She demolished her previous season high of 16. Then Tajane Vega goes out, gives you 19, and double-double, the first of Jayla King's career. All of this, speaking of that team effort you're talking about, because your leading scorer, Geronte Clemens, gets into early foul trouble and can't contribute in points and only played 20 minutes.
And really struggled mentally with getting in foul trouble. And, again, different players really stepped up. And, Josh, I told you in the pregame on Saturday that we're going to see different players continue to get better and continue to make strides. And, I think we see that happening for us. Carey Jewett has got to be one that's got to embrace the role. She's got to be the one that makes that next step. We've got to keep these 3 alive for us. And then Carey Jewett has got to have the mentality that this is my team. We've got to step up. I can't get frustrated. I've got to maintain the focus for us to be able to continue digging for the goal that we're digging for. And, again, Brittany Dinkins was a player that struggled tonight. She's got to really step it up, get back in rhythm for us. Brittany Norris has got to really continue to make strides for us. She's got to communicate for us to be able to be successful, particularly when we're playing our matchup zone. But again, everybody's got to step up. We saw some flashes of LaShira Cotton. She's just got to finish those shots. And I think all those things, the pieces will continue to come together as long as we continue to work hard and have a desire within us to be successful.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back on Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis, we'll catch up with Caitlin Jenkins, that young lady who had 29 points, 15 rebounds. There were murmurs of Janice Felder comparisons in the crowd tonight as she had one of those special nights. And as I told people, that's just what she averaged in high school. She averaged 30 points and 14 rebounds a ball game. We'll come back with Caitlin Jenkins right after this here on the Southern Miss IMG Sports Network. Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. As you can see, we're joined by Caitlin Jenkins, a true freshman out of Shreveport, Louisiana. I call her a walking double-double. She's averaging now better than 10 rebounds this season. She was Louisiana's leading scorer at 30 points and 14 rebounds a ball game. But for you, Caitlin, you thought that maybe when you were in grade school that you'd never get to play basketball again. You had staph infection develop in your left leg, and you thought they might have to take that leg. What type of thoughts were going through your head? How scared were you when you thought that you might never get to play the game of basketball that you love so much?
I was scared, but I really wasn't that scared because I just prayed every day and I knew that I would overcome it. So I wasn't really worried, but I really didn't know what to expect.
Did it feel like that you were given a second chance at basketball, like another opportunity when you found out that you were going to be able to keep your foot and you had been able to overcome that staph infection?
Yeah, I feel like I got another opportunity to play basketball again, so I figured that, everything happened for a reason, so I guess it was my time, to take it somewhere.
Does that fuel you, the injury? Is that your fuel, or is it family? Is it something within yourself? What is your motivation day to day when you set out to play this game, but not only just play it, but play it at such a high level?
Yes, that's what gets me going, that will fuel me is my ankle, because I know that I didn't just go through this just to go through it, so I was like, okay, so I got to play as hard as I can. I just can't let it get to me, so it only makes me stronger. So
Southern Miss continued to recruit you knowing that you had some issues there physically early in your life. Does that make Southern Miss a very special place to you?
Yes, sir. I thought about that before I came here. I was like, they knew that I wouldn't be able to, be at my 100%, but they're still very interested in me, so I feel like they actually care, so that was another reason why I came.
And what makes Southern Miss so special to you today?
Because everything that they were saying, they actually backed it up. They just wouldn't feeding me anything that they'll tell anybody else. But I believe in what they said, and they're showing it.
Well, and she's obviously showing the things that we thought that she could do when we brought her here. She averaged, again, 30 points, 14 rebounds in high school. She comes out with 29 points, 15 rebounds in her Conference USA opener, and it was very physical. A lot of grabbing, a lot of scratching and clawing, and at one point, Coach James, who's on the broadcast with me, said it's her initiation into Conference USA. My question to you is, was it not the rest of the league's initiation? Because I think you won the battle tonight, but it was physical, wasn't it?
It was very physical, and I think that when people be physical, it get me going. I like competition, so okay. I had to, I don't know, it just boosted me up a little bit.
Well, I'm sure that kind of was reminiscent to some of the gyms you went to in high schools across Louisiana when you would have 3 or 4 players hanging on you and you'd be in an opposing gym and there were no whistles being blown and you had to kind of a you against the world mentality. Did you kind of get into a rhythm tonight and forget that you were playing college basketball? Did you kind of flash back to your high school days?
Kinda. When I got into the rhythm, I was excited. Then my team, we was clapping each other hand. We just stayed together. We hype each other up. So.
Does it get quiet when you're in the zone, or do you get hypersensitive where you can hear the crowd and you're reacting to the crowd when you have a game like you had against Louisiana Tech?
No, I'm not the type that listen to the crowd. I just keep playing. I tune all that extra stuff out. I just play hard and I just, stay with my teammates and make sure we're all on the same page the whole entire game.
One of the great things about you is you have come in and you have so much natural ability and athleticism that the coaching staff is being able to mold you and help you grow your game. Where do you feel like, on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you think you are in the growth of your game and developing all the moves that are going to really propel your game through the next 3 years in Hattiesburg and hopefully into a pro career?
With 10 being the best and 5 is halfway there. I think I'm halfway there. I know I have a lot more to learn, but this week we went over a lot of posting up drills and stuff, and I think that took a big part of it.
How big mentally was this win for the Lady Eagles against Louisiana Tech? How big was that win? Because this team, the goal is a championship, and this team has a long way to go, but how big was the win against the Lady Techsters?
It was a really big win. It was our first conference game, and it was all or nothing. We had to give it all. We had to dig deep, and that was the first thing we had to do was get past them, and we got more to go.
And for you in closing, what's the one or two things you've got to do to make games like you had against Louisiana Tech something that we can expect on a night-in, night-out basis?
I gotta keep in practice and stuff, playing hard and practicing on my post moves and rebounding, just basically just playing hard to keep it up.
Do you feel like you're finally settled in now to school and basketball and the college scene?
Yes, sir. A little bit. I feel pretty good about it.
We feel pretty good about it as well, and if this is just the start, if it's a 5 out of 10, watch out for the rest of Conference USA. Caitlin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Caitlin Jenkins joining us here on Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. We'll take a break, come back, talk to Coach McNelis about the big road trip coming up against Charlotte and Old Dominion. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. As we put the wraps on this edition of Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis, I'll get another assist. Lady Eagles had 23 against Louisiana Tech in that 69-59-point win, and the Lady Eagles now turn their attention to Charlotte and Old Dominion. And you can say it now because it's a win and it's in the rearview mirror, but when you have 5 of 7 coming up on the road, that's how big the win was over Louisiana Tech.
That was huge because we're on the road for an extended period of time, Josh. And it's so critical that you protect your home court. We must get wins at home. You have to get your wins at home. So it's very important that we were able to get this W on Saturday. Now it's Charlotte and Old Dominion, 2 very tough teams. Charlotte returns the majority of their starters, majority of their entire team, and they're extremely talented, very talented. And they have a lot of balance in their offense, a lot of balance. So we've really got to be able to hone in on how we're going to guard Charlotte. Things that we can pick up from last year's game and be able to improve in different areas. And then watch them in their game that they just recently played, Old Dominion, on TV, to be able to watch both of those teams and how they competed with each other. And then Saturday, it's at Old Dominion. And I will tell you, Jenny Sims, that's all you got to say, is Jenny Sims, arguably the best player in Conference USA. A player that has guard skills, that plays in the post, plays with a lot of passion, a lot of fire, and that just kind of says enough for Old Dominion. However, they do return a lot of their players again. We're going to face 2 teams that are very seasoned and players that have played multiple years and multiple times in their program and understand what that expectation is.
So as we close the show here, looking at where the team is now, 8-4, 1-0 in Conference USA, this is the time where your teams typically go on that run. This team has put in a lot of extra work. They've spent a lot of times, even 2-a-days, extra shooting, all the little things you have to do to be ready and prepared to take the next step. And we've seen now over the last couple of ball games, this team taking visible progressive steps.
Josh, I'm a true believer. Not everybody believes in it, but science does prove there's a thing called muscle memory, and I preach to them that all the time. And what you train yourself to do is what you're going to do. And I just believe that the more reps you get in doing one aspect of the game, you're going to improve on that area of the game. It's going to happen for you. And, we've done a lot of extra shooting. We've done a lot of skill development. We've done a lot of work of being able just getting better. And one of the things that we really focused on, Josh, I'm going to tell you, the week after we played William Carey was getting the ball inside. And we saw the results of that tonight in us getting Caitlin Jenkins, Jayla King, the ball inside. And again, we've really drilled that, and we've seen some fruits of our labor of being able to be successful in getting them the basketball. Against Charlotte, against Old Dominion, we've got to get the ball inside, and then we've got to have Tajane Vega to continue to play well, Jayla King, and then all the host of everyone else, and Brittany Dinkins, LaShira Cotton, Kerry Jewett's got to embrace his team as we go on the road. Because I'm going to tell you, Josh, that probably one of the toughest road swings that we'll have in Conference USA is Charlotte Old Dominion because of their experience that they have on their team.
It's going to be a lot of fun for the Lady Eagles as they look to get off to a 3-0 start in Conference USA. They'll look for a couple of road wins, and then they'll come back to take on FAU and FIU in just a couple of short weekends. Don't forget to join us each and every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock at Mugshots Grill and Bar out in front of the Grand Theater in Hattiesburg. Your chance to be involved with Southern Miss Sports Today, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Follow Southern Miss Athletics at USM Golden Eagles on Twitter, Southern Miss Athletics on Facebook, and be able to keep up with everything that is going on, this show and everything with the world of Southern Miss Lady Eagle basketball. For Caitlin Jenkins and Coach McNelis, I'm Josh West, and you've been watching the Southern Miss Sports Today show with Coach Joye Lee-McNelis.